Fueled by Deathcast.
From, I think it was 99 to 2011, I was a video game producer for Activision.
Oh, nice. Wow. How did you go from being a musician into being a video game producer? How do you go on that journey?
A trip to the hospital, no health insurance, and a kid was that kind of stuff that drives you to reevaluate and see what you want to do. I happened to be at home. I was playing a video game. I got really pissed off because I watched my 99 lives die, or I'll go away at once because of a bug in the game, and it was an Activision game. And so I was like, well, these guys obviously need help testing these games because this fucking sucks. So I went on their website and they needed testers actually, and I just got a job and I worked my way up, sort of from the actually I would say the ground floor, but it was actually in the basement. So
wow, that's so interesting, and I didn't even know that about you. And as a big video game hobbyist, I mean, I've never been in the industry, but I sure do love video games. Okay, what were some of the titles that you helped produce while you were there?
I worked on a number of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series games. I worked on a couple other of their what they called action sports games. So there was a motocross game that was supposed to be Travis Pastrana's Pro Motocross, but they changed it to MTX for some reason. And then I worked on a couple of the Guitar Hero games. And then I worked on a 007, the Quantum of Solace video game for the film. I did some sort of I don't know. I guess it would be freelance work after that, editing audio. Like I worked on the Elder Scrolls Online game.
That's awesome.
Edited and cleaned up all the dialogue in that game and managed a team of other editors. So
wow,
I've never played the game, but I've heard all the dialogue.
Well, then there you go. That you played the game basically. I have to ask, as a guitarist, when you said you worked on Guitar Hero, did you get to put any of both those skills together, video games and guitar, or?
At the very end, I was working on what would have been Guitar Hero 7.
Oh my gosh.
Which didn't come out. They had a new guitar controller, with strings on it. And I was really helping them to try and figure out how to make it work for the average person that's not a guitarist.
Right.
I mean, part of the sort of beauty of that game was that it's a rhythm game at the end of the day. You don't have to know how to play anything. You just have to know what buttons to hit in the right order. So consequently, drummers are awesome at Guitar Hero. Actually.
Totally.
I mean, that would have been, really cool. Being a guitar player actually, was kind of a negative in some ways for me working on that game, because it's not at all like playing guitar.
Right.
And they would have meetings where somebody would say that, Kurt Cobain is a guitar hero. And I would say, no, he's not a guitar hero. He might've been a songwriting hero, but he's not a guitar hero.
Right.
Getting into sort of semantic arguments where they don't, most the marketing people didn't care about that. They just want to sell the game. So
exactly.
Anyway, it was interesting doing that. I was fortunate. Prototype had a song in Guitar Hero 3, which was the biggest of the Guitar Hero games. Everybody knows the band from that one song.
But it's pretty rad, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's cool.
Those types of games, not even just Guitar Hero, but you brought up how you were working on Tony Hawk too. Like, so many people know punk and metal because of those video games. So many of the younger generation were exposed to all this amazing music because of the Tony Hawk games and the music they incorporated. And I think that's rad that we live in an era like that. It's pretty rad.
I was really fortunate. I mean, when the first, I think it was really Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 that blew up.
Yeah.
And Activision had been rebought and sort of restarted at that point, right before that. And I got in at the sort of the ground floor of the rebirth of Activision, and got to work on quite a few of those games. There was one which wasn't all that successful, but it was my concept for the game. It was called Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam, and I got to take the sort of a one-page concept that I wrote for a game and have somebody make it. It was a really cool experience to be able to do that. And then we filmed with Tony. I took my son to get to meet him.
I was just going to say, did you ever get a chance to meet Tony? That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I met him several times because I worked on the games, but it was more of a joy for me to have my son, who was like 10 at the time, meet Tony Hawk. He was like, that was like legendary for him. So.